There might actually be snow in Colorado this winter.
Yeah, we were hearing some reports
imagine?
early in flakes and heard some people driving in. I saw a couple, but I thought I was just like imagining.
Yeah, I saw it was like one or two would fly by. That's it.
Yeah.
In the headlights.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought, I'm like, that can't be. I thought, that's a bug or something. I'm not seeing flakes. And again, I'm just rationalizing, but yeah.
It's supposed to snow kind of all day today. So kids were hoping for maybe an early end to school.
Always are. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Well, good morning. You've tuned in to the Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710 KNUS. We are Denver's left, right, center debate program. And boy, is there a lot to debate today. The whole country debating what happened between ICE and protesters in Minnesota. We want you to be a part of it as well. I'll let Blake get into the details on that. But that'll be a portion of our show today discussing, was the shooting justified in your mind? The videos all over the internet. You've probably watched them on news as well. What did you think? Join the conversation, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. Trump banning corporations from buying homes. What do you think of that? We'll get to that in the 8 o'clock hour. And then Sean Pond, Montrose County Commissioner, now running for U.S. Senate, challenging John Hickenlooper, will join us in the 9 o'clock hour. So lots to cover. Plus, maybe we'll get to the food pyramid today. And with South Park a decade ahead of everybody else on this one. Now, though, is time for the news.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Good morning. It is Thursday, 36 and cloudy. Expecting a little snow today. We'll see here in Denver and up and down the Front Range. Expecting a high of 43 today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, paid protests, as Jeff and Billy just talked about, broke out in several cities Wednesday, including here in a few places in the metro area, and more expected today following the ICE-involved shooting in Minneapolis. An agent shot and killed a 37-year-old woman who's actually from Colorado Springs in her vehicle because she was weaponizing it, creating chaos. Renee Good attempted to run over an ICE agent. They warned her several times and then found out what could happen. The mini-mayor, that's Minneapolis, he's disputing the story.
During a press conference, Noem said the incident was preventable, that the agent who shot and killed the woman has been treated at a hospital and released.
The ICE officer, fearing for his life and the other officers around him and the safety of the public, fired defensive shots. He used his training to save his own life and that of his colleagues.
Noem added that the ICE agent had been previously involved in a separate incident in which he was rammed and dragged by a vehicle last year. DHS says the woman was protesting ICE when she allegedly drove her car into federal agents. But the Democratic mayor of Minneapolis disputes that, saying the woman was fleeing the scene. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz added the state will make sure the investigation into the incident is full and fair. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
All right, so you'll see more paid protests, I'm sure, today, depending how heavy the snow is. Police have arrested a suspect for a deadly Monday stabbing in Denver. 38-year-old Christopher Fielder arrested Wednesday. Investigators believe Fielder stabbed a man in the 4200 block of North Lipan Street. The man died in the hospital Tuesday. Police say Fielder and the victim had prior relationship that sometimes led to conflict. He's being held for suspicion of second-degree murder. A manhunt is underway for the person or persons who killed 2 people and injured 6 others outside a church in Utah.
I cannot confirm for sure at this time whether it's one shooter or multiple, but we are looking into that.
Police say a funeral was taking place at an LDS church in Salt Lake City Wednesday when an altercation broke out in the parking lot and shots were fired at a group of people. The Senate is set to vote today on a resolution that would block DJT from taking further action in Venezuela without congressional approval. The bipartisan war powers resolution is sponsored by Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, Virginia Democrat Tim Kaine, California Democrat Adam Schiff. So far, a bunch of greaseballs, and Kentucky Republican Rand Paul is in there. The measure only needs a simple majority to pass. Venezuelan officials say 100 people were killed in the raid that captured Nicolas Maduro. RFK Jr. is shaking up dietary guidelines. Kennedy's new plan aims to completely cut out added sugars, prioritize protein, push vegetables and fruit, reduce the intake of highly processed products, eat more whole foods, and end the war on saturated fats. The new guidelines will impact the food served in America's schools in a bid to combat chronic disease.
Blake,
Amen.
do you remember this this video from South Park like a decade ago? Listen to this.
Okay.
It's dinner time on the East Coast in less than an hour. People are going to die.
Sir, we've got a boy on the hotline who says he might know something.
Who is this?
My name isn't important. What matters is that the answer is in the pyramid.
The pyramid? That's ancient stuff you're talking.
Sir, we've got a match. Nutrition is stabilizing.
We've got a well-balanced vaccine, sir. Get the president on the phone. Tell him to have...
Get the president on the phone. Tell him to have some steak with his butter. That was over a decade ago.
That's amazing. I didn't know that was 10 years ago. That is great. Oh, it's so good and so true. It's only funny when it's true, right?
Well, I mean, but I looked at that bottom line, just have steak, fruit, and vegetables. That's it.
Yeah. No,
that,
exactly.
okay.
No, that's right. That's exactly right. It's good. I mean, we got to keep on pushing that. There's no doubt. Just listen to my wife. She'll tell you, man, that is funny. That thing is so well written. Oh, wow. All right, I feel so unhealthy right now. I just was drinking my Diet Coke while you were playing that. The administration is preparing to meet with officials in Denmark about acquiring Greenland. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said Wednesday that he'll meet with the Danish officials next week to discuss the situation. Nuggets, big win over the Celtics last night. Another win without Jokic, 114-110. Good for the Nuggets. Senators at the Avs tonight. If you're looking for a little hockey as the snow falls, 7 o'clock in Lodo. And the Broncos continue preparation for their first-round playoff game at home, 11 days away. College football playoffs continue tonight. Number 6, Ole Miss, who were kicked to the curb by their head coach, Lane Kiffin, who took the LSU job. They take on number 10, Miami. This is going to be a great game. Ole Miss quarterback Trinidad Chambliss. Man, I love watching this dude.
I know the defensive line is, really good and they're physical and they get to the quarterback. So just got to know when to get rid of the ball, when to scramble, when to dump it off to my check down. Have great execution.
I think whoever drafts him, they're going to turn their organization around. 35 in Lone Tree, 34 in Broomfield, 36 in Denver. You're waking up with Jeff and Billy on Stock Show Parade Day, and hopefully it'll be a great day downtown Thursday. And I am Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Some changes with the weather finally will arrive tonight late and into Thursday and Friday, but today another mild day. Highs 50s to near 60 degrees, a mix of high clouds and sun. Cloudy tonight, lows upper 20s, turning colder tomorrow. Highs near 40, then temperatures falling. There will be developing snow showers during the day Thursday. Could see a brief period of snow. Thursday night into Friday morning, much colder. Could see some slick roads and highways late Thursday through Friday. Low 20s Thursday night, highs Friday only 30s. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Wild events in Minnesota yesterday as an ICE officer fatally shoots a U.S. citizen, a woman, 37 years old, from Colorado Springs as she was interrupting ICE activities. She was driving her car. I mean, you can't even really play the video because there's so many curse words in it.
Yeah, there are a lot.
But I'll do my best to describe it, and then Bill, give me your perspective on this. So we get what seems to be late in some form of activity between her and ICE. Some witnesses say that she was kind of the lead car in an effort to disrupt ICE activities that were taking place in Minnesota. So she was kind of blocking cars. So she pulls in front of a car and turns perpendicular on the roadway, and ICE agents are forced to stop. The ICE agents have their sirens on, flashing blue lights. They get out and they approach the woman. They yell at her to stop and to get out of the car. She then drives forward, I would say guns it, and there happens to be an ICE agent in front of the car. He gets hit. It looks like he brushes up, or he doesn't get hit so much that he gets knocked down, but there's definitely contact made. As that contact's being made, he fires 3 shots, 1 into the front windshield, 2 on the side as she goes by. It strikes her in the head. She then, maybe because her foot hits the gas, kind of speeds down the street and runs into cars that are parked, and then the car stops there. She was killed in this incident, and you have 2 political positions. One coming from the kind of progressive leadership of Minnesota, saying that the federal officials are BS. The agent recklessly used power that resulted in somebody dying, getting killed. The mayor going on television, the mayor of Minneapolis, saying, get the F out of Minneapolis. And then the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, saying, don't believe the propaganda machine that's coming from the Trump administration. Kristi Noem and Trump saying that federal officials defended the use of force, saying that the woman had weaponized her vehicle before being shot, that the woman was stalking officers, and that the agent who killed her used his training to save his life and those of his colleagues. So, Bill, what's your read of what happened yesterday?
This is absolutely tragic. This is horrible, and I see it as an overreaction by the ICE agents. I think that it is hard to come to the conclusion, in my mind, that the Trump administration seems to be floating, that this was a woman that was aggressively trying to hurt, injure the ICE officers, that was weaponizing her car. Early indications from the Trump administration said that she was driving into the ICE agents' cars and trying to stop them, and that wasn't true. The linchpin for me is the behavior of the ICE agent that opened fire. And what I want to know is why he placed himself in front of a vehicle during a volatile situation that he should likely assume is in gear. Why would you place yourself in that position at that point? That seems tactically to be phenomenally boneheaded as far as what you would do. You wouldn't put yourself there. The other part is, I disagree with you as far as her gunning it to get out of the way. She is trying to get out of the way, but both of us, Jeff, and probably most of the audience, could run faster than the car was going at the time the officer opened fire. We could run faster than the car. So the idea of imminent danger, I disagree with. I've been through crowded high school, college, and concert parking lots in which there are similar types of things that happen. People that are angry trying to get out of the parking lot and go forward towards individuals. I have moved out of the path of a car going about the same. Now, I wasn't as portly and out of shape at the time, so that may be a different idea, but I look at the idea of this officer being in imminent danger. I really question the decision-making in this process of that individual agent.
Mr. Thorpe, you used, why would you place yourself in this situation, and called it boneheaded. That is a perfect description of how I would look at the woman who put herself in this situation. Why are you interrupting federal law enforcement operations as a bystander, as a person that has no role? You're not an attorney. You're not representing anybody. This isn't a courtroom. You are out on the streets putting your car and yourself right in between federal agents in an effort to disrupt them. That is boneheaded. Why would you put yourself there? Especially if you have kids. That doesn't make any sense to me. You drop the kid off at school and then you go, I'm going to go spend my day interrupting federal law enforcement operations? They carry guns. They're in high-stress situations. They're trying to arrest bad guys, and you are interrupting that? I agree with you. It's tragic. I think it's terrible. I wish this had never happened. But the idea with regards to boneheadedness and why would you put yourself in that position, I put on the woman in that situation. Let's go to the phone lines. Chris Lakewood. Good morning, Chris. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Morning, guys. It's been a while. Hey, once upon a time, I used to consider myself a liberal. When I was about 22, 23, before I knew how the world worked and, let my emotions, get the best of me and whatnot. And I think this is just all coming to a point where people think, and look, I'm as anti-government as they come. I love limited government. The huge, hole in our budget is just one of many reasons and proof that they can't do things efficiently. But to touch on Bill's point, there was another vehicle, I think it was like a Chevy Tahoe to the front of her, to the right on the shoulder. She was perpendicular to the road. She was actively blocking federal law enforcement.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, no matter how you slice it, you are not going to win against the federal government. I hate to say that. You are not going to unless it's like absolutely blatant. And also to touch on this point, the officer had walked out of his vehicle to check on the other vehicle that was being impeded. And so I don't think he was placing himself on purpose in front of that vehicle. All he saw was a vehicle coming towards him and people yelling at her to stop it after
Chris, I'm going to stop you. Chris, I'm going to stop you right there because there is video that is available that you see when the individuals. Now, again, she's parked perpendicular to the officers at this point. The officers get out of the silver pickup truck that's on the left side of the screen. They approach her vehicle and tell her to get out of the car. They grab the handle and they try to reach inside the car at that time. All the time that is going on, there is a third officer that starts at the back end at the back end of the vehicle, and he walks around and places himself in the front of the vehicle during that conversation and confrontation. It is not that the woman took her vehicle and aimed it at the officers. The officer placed himself. Hang on, wait, Chris.
Should not have accelerated.
Hang on, Chris.
You should not have accelerated.
Chris, hang on a sec.
What happens if you or I do that? Because this is just semantics. You are impeding and obstructing federal agents. You have to respect the law, or you risk your life.
At that point, so Chris, do you think that she should have been shot? Do you believe that it is acceptable at that point in time to pull out a gun and shoot her?
You know Stephen A. Smith, right? The sports commentator.
Wait, no, hang on, Chris. This is basically a yes or a no. At this point, is lethal force justified in your mind based on the trajectory of the vehicle, the situation, and how fast the vehicle was going? Was that officer's life in imminent danger?
Well, you and I can't place ourselves in that officer's position, but I'd be willing to bet in a split second you have a decision to make. He made his, she made hers, and this is the byproduct. So I would say no. I'm a proud, concealed carrying, American, but also at the same time, high stress situation. You have somebody who is accelerating when people are saying stop, stop, stop. You don't know what's going on.
Well,
it's very
actually,
difficult,
Chris, here's the thing. Chris, they are charged with understanding and judging what is going on. Those law enforcement officers, in my mind, they're held to a higher standard because they are placed in that situation to make those determinations. The individual driving that car is not. They are not held, in my mind, to the same level of judgment as far as standards are concerned. Because one...
Why was she there?
Hang on a sec, but it's irrelevant to the point that I'm going right now. The issue being that the officer has a duty at that time to judge what's going on. The trajectory of the car, where the front tires were pointing, the speed which it was traveling, and the fact that he placed it himself in front of the vehicle all do not say this was a life-threatening situation.
Oh, Bill,
not at all.
I mean, that's a total misreading of it.
But no, it's not. No, it's not. We could run faster than the car.
You are literally nitpicking second by second that cop's response. Answer this basic question for me. Why was she there?
I don't know. My guess is she was there to disrupt what was going on. But bottom line is, if she was there to disrupt what was going on, it doesn't mean you get to execute her. It doesn't matter.
You clearly don't get to execute somebody because they disrupt something. But Bill,
that seems to be the justification here.
No one's saying that because she was protesting. She deserved to get executed.
But hang on a second.
But Bill, what I'm pointing out is you are analyzing second by something that took 2 seconds. You were looking at microseconds, the car, the position of the tires, and whether or not that officer should have made that type of decision when that woman could have simply never been in that situation at all, and you don't want to seem to analyze that at all.
Oh, no, I'm happy to analyze that. I don't think that she should have placed herself in that situation, but she also should not have been shot. And again, it is the responsibility of the officer to make those determinations based on a split second. And it is fair to critique and judge and to go back and look at those decisions that we're making. That's why in shootings like this, in every single case, officers are taken off duty and the shooting is examined in every single case.
And he will walk on this. He will absolutely walk on this. Go ahead, Chris.
He will. I just want to point out also that leading up to this, the treatment of our federal law enforcement has been absolutely horrendous. We have people throwing stuff at them, breaking windows. I mean, even out in Nebraska, I'm Mexican American, and I had people in my family who were illegal, and they got right. They did what they had to do. So this is a very awkward angle for me, as you can imagine. But look, you are not going to win against the law. The law is the law, and it sucks sometimes. I've been at the wrong end of the law.
Look,
trust
Chris,
me.
and I agree
Should
with
they
you
have shot you, Chris?
because
Good question.
Where you dispute this is in a court of law. If you believe that something's wrong, if you get pulled over and you think you're being treated wrongly or whatever's happening, or you think what ICE is doing is improper, that type of thing, you fight it out, not on the streets with guys with guns and using your weapon or as your car as a weapon. You fight this out in the courtrooms. And she should have never been there. I wish she hadn't been shot, but I'm not going to put this cop in prison because of what happened yesterday. Chris, I appreciate it. Let's get to Advanced Hair Restoration. Chris's line is open. Join the conversation, 303-696-1971. How about a simple New Year's resolution, one that even I could achieve? Reverse the clock on hair loss with Advanced Hair's simple one-day FUE treatment. You'll feel more confident and more youthful when you witness your own natural hair growing into those places that have been balding or thinning for years. From Advanced Hair's breakthrough technology to their highly experienced team, there's no one I trust more in hair restoration. Their simple FUE treatment begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. And your new hair is backed by the Advanced Hair Guarantee. Simply put, Advanced Hair's exceptional standard of care makes your comfort and your results their top priority. Celebrate this new year with a fuller head of hair and get a free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 720-459-HAIR. That's 720-459-HAIR. Discover what meeting your resolution could look like with the before and after pictures at advancedhair.com. Advancedhair.com. All right, we'll continue. Full phone lines, text messages hot. This is going to be a wild day. We're debating whether the shooting in Minnesota by ICE of the 37-year-old woman from Colorado, by the way, that's where she was born, was justified. We'll continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader News Talk 710 KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. We're talking the ICE shooting that took place in Minnesota yesterday. Do you think it was justified, a righteous action by the officer who was hit by a car trying to defend himself, or an overreach, unjustified murder of an innocent woman? What do you think? Let's go to the phone lines. Rod in Littleton. Good morning, Rod. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Good morning, gents. Well, I'll preface this, I got 20 years in law enforcement. The reason this all happened was her action. And we're seeing this over and over and over. People are putting themselves in a place, blocking law enforcement from doing lawful actions in their job. Then they refuse directions, lawful orders from those officers to stop. It doesn't matter how fast she's going. If she runs into that police officer, the chances of him being seriously injured or killed are immense. That vehicle is a deadly weapon. It doesn't take speed. If it knocks him over, he falls, hits his head, the car runs over him. I've seen accidents where cars aren't going very fast, people get run over, and I've seen people die from slow-moving vehicle-involved incidents. This is the left's, they're a major cause of this because they're telling people, get out there and disrupt ICE. ICE is doing their lawful job. She is the one that created the problem, and it's her fault. I hate that it happened because I feel bad for her and her family, but I also feel bad for that officer that had to protect himself and his cohorts. The officer that walked the officer that walked around the car was trying to get this lady to pay attention and stop. Guess what? Cops put themselves in dangerous situations not because they want to, but because they're trying to enforce the law.
Now, Rod, from that video, you called the vehicle a deadly instrument. Why did the officer place himself in front of that deadly instrument in that situation?
They're trying to get this lady to comply. Okay? He's trying to do his job. He didn't place himself there because he wanted to.
No, but
he placed himself there
why?
Because there was a strategic reason that most people, if they see somebody in front of their car, will stop, especially if you got a cop yelling in your ear to stop.
The police officers that she was talking to are on her left. The guy walks around
the
other side.
To him. She was ignoring them.
She does have conversations with them when they're coming up there and when they're reaching into the car. They're both yelling at each other. I'm using the word conversation, but they're yelling at each other. The other guy walks around and stands in front of what you say, a dangerous instrument. He places himself in front of a dangerous instrument during a volatile situation. That is a lapse in judgment. 110% is a lapse in judgment. Yes, it is.
I'm going to tell you right now, I've placed myself in dangerous situations, not because I want to, because that's what I'm trying to get my job done. That officer was doing his job. He tried to move out of her way when she started driving, but she hit him.
And what was the directions? Hang on a sec. Was she intending to hit him or not, Rod? Because that's important. Or was she trying to leave the area?
She didn't care. The key is it was a reckless act. She did not care anything about anybody around her.
No.
That was a reckless act.
That's not true at all, Rod. How can you say that she didn't care? Hang on a sec. Rod, how can you say that she didn't care about anybody else around her when she doesn't slam into the officers, she doesn't attack them or anything else? And in fact, when they're trying to get her, the time in which she strikes the officer, her wheels are pointed to the right. Her wheels are not pointed straight ahead. She is trying to leave.
See where the wheels were.
Then he is in the wrong position, Rod. Rod, if he places hang on a sec. Rod, if you place yourself in front of a deadly instrument, as you say, why in the hell are you so close that you can't determine where that deadly instrument is going? That is a lapse in judgment.
You stand in front of a car at 3 or 4 feet, and you tell me which way the wheels are turned.
That's the issue, Rod. You don't stand in front of the car at 3 to 4 feet because you can't tell where the wheels are. No, because he is.
The cops are there doing their job, trying to get her to comply.
And they're doing it. And they're doing it, Rod.
It wouldn't have happened.
Rod, they're doing it. And guess what, Rod? Guess what? And if she would have driven away the result would have been what? They have her license plate number and a description of the car. How hard is it going to be to track down this miscreant? How difficult is law enforcement? No, just reasonably, Rod. In this situation, is this a point in which this individual is fleeing and is showing some sort of imminent danger? No.
Yes.
You can pick her up later, Rod. Rod, this is silly. And here's the reason why. Rod, here's the reason why, Rod, is because back here in May of 2020, we had a woman that drove an SUV into a crowd of protesters. She was found not guilty of assault, even though she hit a guy and the guy jumped up on the hood. It was assault, and she hit the guy. Here you're telling me that because of a danger of what could be assault, and this woman was traveling faster during the George Floyd protest than this was, that is a capital offense. The law officer should be able to end her life because of that.
The fact you are neglecting to keep in focus is she did not comply. If she had complied, would she be alive today? Yes.
Rod,
100%.
here's the thing. Rod,
100%.
Rod, but the conclusion can't be from law enforcement, if you don't comply, I get to shoot you.
That's not a complete. That's not a complete analysis. She didn't get shot because she didn't comply.
Jeff and Rod. No, that's what we're hearing. No, that's what we're hearing right here. If she would have complied, they wouldn't have had to shoot her. That's where we're getting this justification.
This is silly.
This is silly.
With a deadly weapon.
This is
killed
silly.
him with a deadly weapon.
No, he placed himself in front of the
Yes,
deadly weapon.
she did.
He placed himself.
She aimed at him with a deadly weapon.
No, she wasn't aiming at him. Rod, that's not where the tires were going. Rod, that's not where the tires were going. No, it's not. That's not the trajectory of the vehicle. Yes, it does. If you're saying that she came at him in a deadly vehicle, it matters where she's going.
Hold on. Rob,
Time out, Bill. If that vehicle is moving towards you, you have a split second to decide if that's a threat. And that vehicle was a threat. I don't care which way the tires were towards that officer. He got hit. He fired to protect himself and others. Because at that point, they don't know what her state of mind is. And they're going to protect themselves and others.
Rod Littleton, I appreciate the call. Thanks so much. Rod's line will be open. Jump in. It's a feisty one this morning. Was the shooting, the ICE shooting that took place in Minneapolis, a justified shooting? 303-696-1971. All right, folks, let's talk about Gyrie's. There's locations all throughout the Denver metro area. My wife and I got a chance to sit down with their professional personal designer, and she showed us an incredible selection of Hunter Douglas custom blinds, shades, and shutters. Look, I was a little overwhelmed at first. I've never worked with a designer. I was mostly afraid of the costs, but it was absolutely reasonable. It was a fantastic experience. In fact, we're going back for more blinds at our house. She walked us through everything, helped us find the perfect options to enhance it, the look and functionality of our home. So whether your curtains are clashing or you just want a fresh look, Gyrie's has the solutions. The designers are the experts, and they can help you with everything from window treatments to full room decor. Here's the best part. They offer a personalized in-home consultation. They'll come directly to you, so you can get the same expert advice right in your own home. Do yourself a favor. Get started today. Visit Gyrie's.com to schedule your in-home consultation. That's GUIRYS.com, GUIRYS.com. Go see the great people at Gyrie's. You'll be sure to thank me. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Marcus in Aurora. Bill, let's pull Marcus up. Marcus, you're up on the Jeff and Bill Show.
It's good talking to you guys. I agree with a lot that Rod said, but what's going to come off? They say there's a fourth camera situation, and they're looking at where she was, what she was doing during that time, and she was in a lot of areas. So it's not that. It's just sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Also, that fascinates me. It's like, remember back in the day, they have these raving parties and everything, and all of a sudden all these people show up. The protesters are using that these days. So I just find it fascinating. Plus, I want to know her background. When that background comes up, we'll know everything.
Marcus, this is part of the aspect of this whole situation is her leadership of this protest. Here is a witness yesterday.
They clearly wanted her out of there because she was the main car leading the protest, is my understanding. I talked to another guy who was driving behind her, but she was very successful in blocking traffic. She was doing what she was set out to do, and so they wanted to get her the hell out of there. Yeah.
So it looked like she was impeding ICE vehicles.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay.
That was her goal.
That was her goal, impeding ICE officials. Not saying that she deserved to be killed. I don't want people to have the death penalty for that, but I'm also not going to prosecute the ICE officer and say he has to go to jail for what he did yesterday. How does hearing that audio, Marcus, change your perspective at all on what happened yesterday?
She was leading all this stuff, and her background will tell you about that woman. And you know what makes me mad? She's out of Colorado. And I look at the governor down there, Tim's from Nebraska. I look at the mayor and the police chief, they're out of Chicago. This is ridiculous.
Now, Marcus, the one thing that person we heard in the audio says that they wanted to get her the hell out of there. We have every indication in that video that she was trying to leave. Should she have then been shot?
But, Billy, I like you a lot. But, Billy, let's see what her background record says about her.
I understand that, Marcus, but nobody at the scene at that point knows that. So we can't say that because she did X, Y, or Z yesterday, 3 days before, 6 months before, that in this instant, it then justifies her death. And I want to see if she did something during the day. What did she do to place the officers' lives or attack that make them feel they were in danger? If there was some sort of imminent threat, and if there was, and Marcus, and if there was, I need to have someone explain to me why they can't look at that Honda Pilot with the Minnesota license plate and all the very identifiable stickers on the back and find out where she lives. Because she's probably in that community. And so the reasonable thing at that point in my mind is she goes and then later, knock, knock, knock on the door, and you come and talk to her. And you come, and if the time it justifies arrest, you arrest her. You didn't have to pull out a gun. There's no reason to open fire. She could have been detained and arrested later because you have all that information. No, she was trying to get away.
No,
she wasn't aiming towards the officers.
There's other cameras out there, Billy.
Yeah,
you only saw what you want.
No, I have seen 6 different angles of it so far.
But the police officer was struck by the car.
Yeah, and he was bumped by the car.
True. And
the people. No, there weren't. The people at the incident reported the only person injured was the woman shot. The reporting at the time.
Because they were with her.
Hang on. No, the reporting from the officers to local authorities after the shooting was the only person that was injured was the deceased woman. There were 0 reports of injuries, and thanks for the call, Marcus, at the time of the incident. The guy that was bumped by the car did not report himself as being injured at that time.
Thank God. Marcus from Aurora, I appreciate the call. His line's open if you want to jump in. This is a hot one today, 303-696-1971. All right, let's talk faith, family, and freedom. These values define the American tradition and are increasingly under attack. The Centennial Institute at Colorado Christian University is dedicated to remaining a committed voice for Christian conservative principles. Through their public events, publications, and student initiatives, they're committed to delivering world-class programming that empowers citizens of all ages to stand boldly for conservative values and engage the pressing issues of the day with grace and truth. The need to promote principled conservatism and train the next generation of conservative leaders to speak with moral clarity and conviction is more urgent than ever. Join the Centennial Institute at Colorado Christian University in their work to recommit to culture, faith, family, freedom, and future. Learn more at centennial.ccu.edu. That's centennial.ccu.edu. All right, we'll continue. Phone lines hot, text messages hot. Plus, we got You Choose the News coming up. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. We'll continue the debate. Stick around. Scott Littleton, you're going to be up next. Barney, Denver, we'll get to you. Joan from Lakewood wondering what the text messages are like. It's pretty close to 50-50, maybe a little 60-40 on the side that the shooting was justified. But definitely, Jay from Louisville, absolutely not justified, not even debatable. Car was past the officer. The driver was fleeing. No danger. No reason to keep shooting. So we'll continue to get back to this debate, especially into the next hour. But now it's time for Bill Thorpe's You Choose the News.
Yes, it's time for us to be a little bit silly. Then we'll get back into the arguing. It's You Choose the News, America's favorite fake radio news game show. Yes, I've scoured the interwebs for moments this morning, found really dumb stories about us humans, given them even more ridiculous headlines so that we can play this fake radio news game show because people in charge here are not awake until 7 o'clock. So that's why we're going to take full advantage of being left unsupervised. Blake Olson joins us from the news department. Jeff Hunt in the studio. Gentlemen, here are today's choices. Headline number 1, artificial refill. Headline number 2, pirate treasure. Headline number 3, there is no conformity. And headline number 4, viral love loss. Mr. Hunt,
let's start with some pirate treasure.
Yeah, pirate treasure. Now, there is a place right off the coast of Western Australia that is known for its old shipwrecks. Oftentimes, people go snorkeling, scuba diving down there in order to find old lost treasure. Well, recently, in Shark Bay, just there in the Indian Ocean, someone found an ancient hidden safe. Okay, not quite a pirate treasure, but still, it was a safe that was found under the water. So one day, Mr. Selinger and his daughter went out there and decided to retrieve the heavy-duty safe themselves. Together, they were able to lift the heavy box from the seafloor back onto the back of Mr. Selinger's jet ski. They brought it back home, and that's where they enlisted their friend, Brad the Builder. Yes, with a strong smell emanating from the safe, they were unsure what was going to be found inside until they cracked it open. Using an angle grinder to carve a hole in the back of the safe, the duo then reached inside to pull out the treasure. It's a 30-gram packet of what's advertised as the world's hottest beef jerky. Yeah, that's what they got.
That was it.
That was it. Beef jerky.
Did they at least eat it?
They didn't say they tried it because it said it was the world's hottest. But I know. All that time they're thinking, could this be? Someone put this in a safe, and inside the safe, it's world's hottest
Geraldo,
beef jerky.
They got more than what Geraldo
Exactly,
found.
they did. That was exactly what I was thinking the entire time. Okay, Blake, your choice, sir. Artificial refill, there's no conformity, or viral love loss?
Viral love loss.
Yeah, viral love loss. Here we find ourselves in Italy. A man is taking legal action against a restaurant because of a TikTok promotional video. It's kind of odd, but the 42-year-old has filed a lawsuit claiming his privacy was violated at the restaurant when TikTok posted a video of him eating dinner there. Yeah, it seems very innocuous until you realize that, that evening his dinner partner didn't happen to be his wife. No, man is married, and during the viral video, his affair is exposed to everybody. Yes, he is having dinner with his lover at the restaurant, and they post a video about how romantic and wonderful it is. Now, the man is taking that restaurant to court, saying that they didn't ask him his permission, they unlawfully filmed him, and they should not have been able to share that material online. They say he never appeared to agree on camera and was not asked or compensated or nothing else, so he's going to try to gain some cash out of this. I know.
Good for him.
Strange.
What was the guy's name?
I don't know if I have that here.
No, the lover.
I have no idea. Here we go. Now, Jeff, your choice, sir. Artificial refill or there's no conformity?
There's no conformity.
No conformity at all. That's what fans of Stranger Things recently found out. And it crashed Netflix. There was a rumor going around online, you may have caught it, that there is a secret Stranger Things episode set to drop called Conformity Gate. It was a bogus theory that was spread all over the internet, and that's when intrepid clue finders thought they knew it was Wednesday evening in which this secret episode of Stranger Things was about to drop. So everybody logged in and crashed. Netflix, numerous servers couldn't handle the traffic. So if you weren't able to watch your movies last night on Netflix, that's because a bunch of idiots thought that a Stranger Things rumor was true online. There is more Stranger Things lore coming, but it is not a secret episode of Stranger Things. It is a spin-off. There are no Easter egg, there's no things, but people thought they saw Easter eggs and signs inside of the episodes and figured that the creators were telling them something to find the Easter egg hidden episode, and so they crashed the Netflix. Yeah, That's it. Because we know everything on the internet's true. I know.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
it. Yeah. Well, that's
Well,
it.
there
That's
you
the end
go.
of You Choose the News. You got a little bit of extra time here, but that's it. Yeah, I know.
I
Really running to the
appreciate it,
music.
Mr. Thorpe. Well, the debates are hot. We'll get right back into it. Was the shooting in Minnesota by an ICE agent, 37-year-old woman from Colorado, justified? Now, I think it's terrible that she died. I don't want to see that. I respect human life and the sanctity of it. But that officer was hit by a car. She shouldn't have been out there. She was directly interfering with law enforcement operations. And I'm sorry it happened to her. But I'm not going to imprison the cop for what he did. Am I wrong? Join the conversation. We'll continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader. We're News Talk 710 KNUS. We'll be right back.